We have the largest ever leak of information to journalists that shows how the wealthy and the politically connected are able to operate for legitimate and sometimes illegitimate reasons, more or less anonymously and away from the gaze of authorities who might be interested in knowing if they're missing any taxes or if any activities that are breaking national laws are occurring in their own borders, but without their knowledge. They create these companies. They often don't know who the end user client is, or often perhaps don't know the purpose of that company or its transaction. That's not their job. I think lots of critics say it should be part of the job of anyone involved in this kind of offshore world, because too many abuses have been committed precisely because no one knows who's doing what. Mossack Fonseca is governed by the laws of countries in which it operates, and in its response to us, it was certainly very clear, as it pointed out, that it's never been prosecuted. I think normal people should worry about this because it is inherently unfair, I think, that just because you have enough money to pay lawyers or a private bank to order you a shell company that doesn't do anything, that you can do that, and through that shell company you actually end up paying 5% taxes instead of the 35%, for example. And that's what we see in lots of the files. It's often companies, but sometimes individuals, who are able to pay less on taxes even though they're already worth an immense amount of money. From the information we've seen, and that the Guardian newspaper in particular has led with today, David Cameron's father was involved in an offshore company. To my understanding, that had been reported on previously. I think for us, from our perspective as ICIJ, why that matters and why we're reporting on these things in the name of the public interest is that, does that kind of political involvement, even completely legitimate and legal, does that kind of political involvement mean that any steps towards reform or further transparency are going to work?
Correct.
That's right. Mossack Fonseca is one, albeit large, company of corporate service providers who specialise in this kind of thing. And there are many others doing this kind of work, which may be one explanation, for example, as to why there are so few Americans in the data. Americans, citizens, for whatever reason, may have chosen to have gone elsewhere so far. Hello, Eleanor. It's Will here, calling from Kim's office. Thanks for the idea. It's a nice space. How you doing? Look as though I'm actually working in the office. Who? S. Oh, really? I thought the ABC...